Hi and welcome to Angling For You. You join me today again on the Cedar and on Peg 62. We filmed, this will be the third video today, so it gives you a good indication of what can be done in a day session. We've looked at meat on the feeder with pellets, and we've also used the meat and pellet on the deck on the short line, so check them two videos out if you haven't seen it. And now what we're going to do is we're looking at margin fishing. Now I've thought of a lot about margin fishing, and there's loads of variations, and people do ground bait and corn, or pellet and corn, or meat down the edge. But what I've done is I've gone a bit different, or I like to think it's a bit different to what I've seen anyway on there, and it's one that might help quite a few people out, because they always have these kind of things knocking around and they tend to buy them and not use them. Now what I've got here for the feed, instead of having ground bait or just corn, what I have got the pellet and I have got the corn, but I've got diced up meat through it. I've got little Scopex boilies and they're just broken up. So really the emphasis is I'm trying to work on it is particle baits, a bit like if you were spodding out, you were going to do a big carp session. But what I've done is use things that I've got in my bag. So I've got the corn, I've got the fishery pellets, we've got the meat from earlier on, and the Scopex boilers again are just a different particle which we've got to hold the fish and attract the fish. But it's something that probably everybody's got in the bag and they just sit there and do nothing. Use them up instead of doing it. Use them up, and in there I've added some monster baits and dips. I've added some luminous hemp and a bit of pineapple flavouring, just to enhance the sweetness and get a little bit of attraction. So naturally I've got meat and I've got corn as baits, but I've also got paste. Now I'm not going to go through how we make the paste. What I want you to do is just have a look back through fishing the paste on the short line. It's the stiffer of the two pastes, and she explains how to mix it, how to make it. It is a 50-50 blend of marine halibut and green swim stem. We've not wetted it through, so it's sloppy. It's stiff enough that we can swing it out, and that's the kind of thing that I like to do down the margins. So those are the sort of attack meat, corn and paste are going to be the attack baits, and then obviously that's going to be the feed that you see there. So it's a play on that sort of the particles that you would use up, things that you would find in your bag that you don't really need and want to use up. So I've got two swims, one either side of me. I've not baited up this side just yet because I've seen a lot of fish down here. I've baited this one up. Fingers crossed they'll get onto it. I'll move the camera down the side and we'll try and get the across shot and try and get everything in. I'll try and move over the shots as we go. Now the rig itself, we've got sort of a 16 hollow on. Obviously we're not expecting absolutely massive. Fingers crossed it'd be nice, but there's a lot of F1s in here, and there's a lot of sort of 4 to 5 pound carp, but they do go off like they're being shot, so having a sort of decent size elastics helps that out. We've got a little 0.5 gram short chimp style float. Now 0.5 gram, I want it to be stable. There's got tails and things like that. I want it to be stable in the swim, and it's a small bristle. It's pretty much indestructible, and that's 019 all the way through with an 017 hook link, and that's down to a size 12 Kamasan B911. And what we want to do is have that bigger hook for the paste, for the double corn and for the big pieces of meat. Like I say, we're not trying to target small fish, so we do want a bigger bait on there, and we've just about got 2 foot of depth, and we've looked for a flat bottom, and that's where you want to really look when you're in the margin. Try not to fish on a slope or anything like that, because your bait's just going to go down that slope. What you want is to find a close flat bottom. Fortunately this slopes away until it gets about 2 foot away from the bank, but there's a little sort of piece of shrub which I've baited up at side of, and that's the 2 foot marker that I want to fish to, and that's where we're going to start. So what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around and we'll see if we can. Right guys, so what we're going to do is just get that piece of paste out there, start on that edge first, and see if we can entice one of them. What you got to try and do when you're fishing down the edge is to not throw smack your rigging. It's just gently lower it down. To where you need to fish. Quick bite there. Shows that there's fish about, so that's good. I've just seen some swirls. I just see a fish top up there, so that's a positive sign. So there's a lot of fish topping around, but like I say, it's quite a deep 2 foot, sorry, to where we're fishing. So we're into a fish straight away then. Obviously a few fish down there. Quickly try a little bit of meat. Sometimes when there's a few fish about, get a good indication with a bit of meat. The thing about your edge fishing though is that don't let it die out. You need to, you cannot just put that initial feed in and then expect nothing. You know, if you're catching fish, then you want to be topping it up. It's an aggressive bite there. Straight under with that paste. This is why we sort of have these margin poles, so you can get these better fish. It's not too big, this one. I've seen plenty of fish down there that are bigger than this. It's a nice F1. And I had no problems taking that paste straight away. Beautifully hooked. So right into the bone. I'm just going to need a forceps just to nick it out of that bone with its lip. Let's get that one in, and when we get a bit bigger one, we'll show it. We'll lift it up. But now what the routine? Now that you've got that in, you need to get some more of this mixture. Just give her a couple of small handfuls, and keeping their heads down on that food while you get your next bit of paste on. Now, when you do your margin fishing, it pays to have sort of a couple of different areas to get fish from. So we've got one behind us, and we're going to end up with a couple more as well, I would say. What tends to happen when you're throwing feed in is that you get bits dropping in front of you and things like that, and you end up losing stuff to that little bit in front of you, and then you end up getting fish under your feet. So it's always good to pay attention to that. Into the fish, another fish now. Steering it out of the peg. Don't think it's too big, maybe another F1. Feels like an F1, it's not pulling back too hard. It is. Here and easy, up in the net. Let's put a little bit of paste on, see if we can swindle one on that. Usually get a bit bigger stamp on paste. I'm just cautious that they're a bit turbulent in there, the amount of fish, so let's have a look. So I can get it in there. So another fish again, straight away in the paste. Feels like another F1. Not getting his head up, but it's definitely an F1 darting around. Come on. There he is. Let's go. Right guys, what I'm going to do is just give it a bit of a wider angle and see if you can just get a bit more of the surroundings. Right, so got a bit of a wider angle. I'm going to get this paste on, give that another blast. Hopefully we'll pick some up a little bit bigger. More feed in there. Straight away that. Let's have a go with a piece of meat. Piece of meat in there. Again, meat's one of those baits that sort of seeks out the bigger fish usually. Well, it does if it's a bigger piece. There's an absolute monster there though. I could just try and mug. He's not, I think he's interested. Oh, he didn't have to think about it. See if there's some big fish around, and fingers crossed we get one of them on camera for you. fish. Feels like another F1 actually. Can't stop catching F1s today. Yep. Let's have a look where we're hooked. A little bit. So we get another bit of paste on. Try that. It's good to alternate these the baits, because it just keeps everything interesting. If you've got one that you know is absolutely smashing everything else, then fair enough. You know, stick with it. But if you're getting certain fish, like I've just tried double corn, got an F1, tried meat, got an F1. Then I'll go back to paste because I haven't had an F1 on paste yet. So go back onto paste and see if I can get something a bit bigger. Into a fish now on paste. Ironically, I think it is an F1. So I've just said that I haven't had one on paste. I'm gonna bloody up one on paste. Might look at it. But the annoying thing is, there's plenty of big fish here because I can see them. It's just getting through these mountain of F1s until we get to a bigger one. So what we'll do is just keep that camera rolling, and I'll keep trying to catch, and fingers crossed we'll get to a bigger one. But as you can see, it's productive. You know, we've had 6 fish in as many drops, bar a couple of foul hookers at the start. And it's a devastating method down the edge, and you just got to keep it fed. And this time of year, do not be shy of giving it some feed. You want to keep those fish there, and you want to keep those fish biting. And if you want to do that, you need to feed them. And there is some bigger fish down here, just getting them to get their heads down and get on that feed. Into another fish now. This one feels a little bit bigger. This is definitely a carp and not an F1. Oh, I might have spoke too early. This might have been on a big first dart, I think. It's sold me into a sense of false security. Oh no, another F1. Well, with that one, what we'll do is we'll stop the camera, and we'll go on to swim number 2 and see what's on that one. Into another fish. It's going a bit haywire. I feel that it may be another barbel. Oh, it could be an F. Oh, it's an F1. It's a nice F1. It's just plain dead. It's plain bream, as we call it, until we get it in the net, and then it goes absolutely bananas. So a great whacking piece of meat, straight down. Good. And it's fin. Get it back in there. Well, I hope this video has been helpful to you. It's been a lot of fun to fish, as all 3 of these series of the Cedar Challenge. And yeah, it's a good method. It's a good way to utilise baits that you've got up, using a particle mix and making your own concoction. Fish love baits to settle on, and you know, giving yourself some surefire baits to fish over the top makes for a great session. So hopefully these 3 videos have been helpful to you, and there's still a little bit of summer left, and we'll try and keep these videos coming up as much as possible. Thank you for all the support on the Facebook and the Instagram, and obviously on the YouTube, with the subscribers have gone up massively. Please keep sharing it with your friends and your family. You know, we don't do it for anything other than to help people. That's really what it's about. Join us on the Facebook, Angling, just search Angling for You. Join us on Instagram at Angling_for_you, and hopefully you'll click that like button for us and that subscribe button, activate that little bell icon so it lets you know when the new videos are. Thanks a lot, guys. Tight lines.